How's it going everyone, Jurassic Ninja? And in this video, we're going to be discussing 5 things the Sega Dreamcast does better than the Sony Playstation 2. Now this isn't going to be a video of me explaining that the PlayStation 2 sucks and this is why the Dreamcast is better, because I know ultimately the PlayStation 2 is a better console. But the Dreamcast did have some things that were actually better. And with that being said, let's take a look at those things. The first one's going to be that the Dreamcast is actually more effective at textures, anti-aliasing, and image quality. The PlayStation 2 actually didn't offer any full anti-aliasing, and you can see that in my Dreamcast vs PS2 comparison video where all the Dreamcast games had sharper edges. It wasn't until much later in the PlayStation 2's life that they were able to get FSSA, but that was only through software methods and not the actual hardware. With the Dreamcast VGA support, it was able to output higher resolutions and better image quality over the PlayStation 2. Some of the Dreamcast GPU hardware features are capabilities such as tile rendering, super sample anti-aliasing, .3 normal mapping, and texture compression, which the PS2's GPU lacked. With a larger VRAM and tiled rendering, the Dreamcast can compress around 20 to 60 megabytes of textured data in its VRAM, because the PlayStation 2 has only 4 megabytes VRAM. At the end of the day, the PlayStation 2 does have better hardware specs. The second thing the Dreamcast does better is with its memory card. The Dreamcast uses what's called a VMU, Virtual Memory Unit. It acts as a way to save your game progress, just as the PlayStation 2, but it also has built-in screen which can be utilized by games. Resident Evil Code Veronica will use the VMU screen to display your health.
What? Oh no!
NFL 2K2 would allow you to pick your plays so the other players couldn't see. There were also games that allowed you to download mini-games to your VMU, such as Sonic Adventure Series, Sega GT, and Spy Hunter. Sony did have a memory card that was like that called the Pocket Station. But that was actually for the PlayStation 1 and not the 2, and it never came out in America. It was created ultimately to compete with the Dreamcast VMU, but it didn't catch on. Now the third reason it's better is the built-in modem. The Dreamcast came bundled in with this built-in 56K dial-up modem. And later they did make a broadband adapter, but that was never bundled with any console. That was always sold separately. And that broadband adapter is pretty rare and expensive these days on eBay. Now the original PlayStation 2 did not come with any online support natively. The Slim version did have a broadband adapter, but that came out after the death of the Dreamcast. So that's why the Dreamcast is better than the PS2 in that regard. SegaNet was the service that allowed players to be able to play online against their friends or strangers. It was extremely popular when it was introduced, so logging on any online compatible game would generally have lobbies full of players. It was the first time a console natively could go online, and it was revolutionary. And it was extremely fun to be playing NFL 2K games online against strangers. Now the fourth one is more of a personal opinion, but it does seem to be in the majority, and that's going to be the actual design of the console. The Dreamcast console design is very sleek, stylish, and small. It offers 4 small controller ports and the iconic triangle power LED light. It really is a beautiful design. The white was a perfect color to launch with, as it makes it look very elegant. The PlayStation 2 is nearly twice the size and not nearly as aesthetic. I did love the look of the PS2 console when I first owned it, and I don't think it's ugly by any means, but the lines going through the design doesn't do itself any favors. A flat surface would have looked much cleaner and would have made it cleaner too. I hate dust, and these indents collect so much dust. So for me, the Dreamcast console's design is a lot better. Now the last thing that the Dreamcast did better than the PlayStation 2 isn't really good for the company Sega, but it was great for the consumers, and that was the hacking scene. Every single Dreamcast game was hacked, and anyone could download these games and burn them onto a regular blank CDR disc and play them in their Dreamcast as if it were a real retail copy of the game. You could do this without the use of a mod chip. Literally, burn the game and play it. It's true you can pretty easily play PS2 backups with MC Boot, but you do need to go through a series of hoops to get that going, but none of that existed during the Dreamcast PS2 wars. You either had to mod chip your PS2, or buy a disc swapping software and device to pull your disc tray out, or get a new top cover where the lid popped open. Basically, it wasn't nearly as easy to play backup games and emulators on the PS2. At that time, Dreamcast reigned supreme for homebrew, emulation, and backup playability. Well, that was my list of 5 things that the Sega Dreamcast did better than the PlayStation 2. In my next 5 list video is going to be 5 things that the PlayStation 2 did better than the Dreamcast. So keep a lookout for that video. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, hit that like button, possibly ring that bell, all notifications, some notifications. I'm not a picky guy. Thanks for watching and take it easy.